Welcome to day 2 of the 3-day reset. This is probably my absolute favorite trick because it's all me. This is one I completely adapted myself. I suppose you could say everything from day 1 was also something I adapted myself, but this just seems to feel a lot more when I think about it. I used to be the kind of person, and maybe you can relate, who would scatter clean the entire house. One day I would all of a sudden get the motivation to think that I could clean the entire house from top to bottom. Like I thought my energy would never run out. I was going to Energizer Bunny tackle the entire house. It didn't work. So I would start clearing through and cleaning maybe my bedroom. And then I would find myself in the kitchen putting away the dishes. And then from the kitchen, I would find myself in a kid's room. And slowly I would clean up different spaces, but at the end of the day, everything was messier somehow. I stayed in this process for years and would hit this wall of feeling super overwhelmed by the mess that I had made until I finally realized what the problem was. The big problem with me running around from room to room was that I was leaving the room I was originally starting in. So instead of going from room to room, I thought, how can I keep myself in one spot? Then I figured it out. Anything that belonged anywhere else in the house would go into a pile. And that's where it would stay until I was done with the designated area that I was cleaning. So if I started cleaning my bedroom, I would only clean my bedroom. If I found dirty dishes in my bedroom, they would get set on my dresser along with my kids' socks, toys, bathroom products. Anything else that did not belong in my room would accumulate in a pile until I was done with my room. When I was done cleaning up my room, I would pick up that pile and then put things into those spaces. And a lot of times, by the time I was done with my room, I was burning out on the energy. So that meant dishes went in the sink. Socks got thrown on my kids' floor, and I just had to make peace with the fact that not everything was going to be perfectly put away. Now, what I hear from people a lot is that the putback bin would never get put back. But say the putback bin never gets put back, but you actually have created a clean space versus if you're running around trying to clean all of the different spaces and make a bigger mess. Pick and choose which one works for you. Starting this putback pile eventually spiraled into me starting what I call my 4-bin declutter method. This is so beneficial if you have ADHD, if you're a scatter cleaner like me, or if you have kids. Be right back because I'm actually going to need a prop to tell you more about this. The first member of my 4-bin decluttering method is the garbage can. Let's face it, any room that we go through is going to have garbage that needs to be thrown away. You don't want to get up and walk from garbage to garbage. So bring one into the space with you. That makes it easy to just toss the garbage in so you can keep going with your declutter method. Number 2, here's that putback bin that I was telling you about. I have this bin on hand in my house. You do not need to buy bins, but if you've got kids, you might actually want to. This has been a really helpful method for helping my kids declutter their rooms because they can easily sort things from pile to pile and take them where they are meant to go at the end of cleaning out their rooms. Of course, with any good declutter session, you're going to need the donate bin. Now for you, this might look like filling up old Amazon boxes, Costco bins, whatever you have on hand. Like I said, you don't necessarily need to have the bin because it's not like I'm dropping this off at Goodwill. Everything that goes in the donate bin eventually has to be put into some different type of container to be donated. But having this on hand makes it easy, like I said, to sort through each area at a time so that you can keep going smoothly through the rest of the process. Last bin, and this bin is definitely a maybe. I highly recommend going through your decluttering process without this bin if you can. But if you are someone who struggles with those fears, like, what if I need this someday? What if the person who gave this to me comes over and asks for it? Those kinds of things can make decluttering really difficult because we sit there and worry about them. Instead of worrying about those things, start putting anything that comes up like that into a maybe box or bag. When you have a maybe box or bag, these are things that you think you want to get rid of, but you're not quite ready to commit. You can put all of those things in a bin, store them away for 6 months to a year. You're not really adding any clutter to your life. And then if in 6 months to a year, you haven't even opened that bag or that box, you can simply drop it off at a donation center. I hope this 4-bin method gave you some basic ideas on how to start clearing your space, and you can definitely mix it up and find a way to make it work for you. Now, these first 2 days can really help you so much in clearing through the clutter in your home. But I really want to talk to you about day 3 because this is an unconventional decluttering method that I've never heard anyone else talk about, but I think we really need to address it.